Come join Libby and Molly, the ladies of Consignment Chats, as we talk about all things consignment.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 60 of C Chats, Consignment Chats. And we are bringing you something a little different based on community demands. All right, let's call it community demands. Community questions in our C Chats community on Facebook. We are bringing you a new segment, and it's called See It with C Chats. So how's that for a tongue twister? We couldn't have done a little better there, made it easier to say. See it with C Chats. So what we're going to be doing is highlighting different business models and processes. So I'm going to get into it today with Samantha, and she's from Sorting with Samantha. Check it out in the show notes, but we're going to go head over there and we're going to see what this is all about. She's going to show you what her business looks like and how she actually runs her day-to-day business and what's involved. So let's check it out. Welcome, Samantha. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So by popular demand, you are on C Chats, and I just want to preface this by saying we can't wait to do a C Chat spotlight, business spotlight on you. But today we're doing something a little bit different. We're launching this is going to be the first in a series of See It with C Chats, where we do demos of different people's business models and different business models for consignment. And you're the first one. So we're going to give a little brief introduction here to your business and who you are and where you are. But tune in because she will be doing a C Chat spotlight. We might have to twist her arm a little bit, but I think she needs a spotlight shined on her. So welcome, and please introduce yourself and your business.
All right. I am Samantha Pratt. I own Sorting with Samantha. I'm on Facebook and eBay and trying to build that up and then branch out to other things. You're getting me out of my comfort zone here. So
Totally fine.
I started I did personal consigning as like a side, or personal organizing as like a side hustle. And people were just getting rid of stuff. They're like, oh, you can throw that out or donate that. And I'm like, I could put this on Facebook and make you $20 in like 2 minutes. Like, come on. So that's how I got into consignment, and it grew so quickly that's what I do.
Yeah. Wow. So we've watched your evolution kind of in C Chats to go from a part-time reseller to a full-time reseller. Would you consider yourself, I'm assuming you're a full-time reseller based on everything I see that you're doing.
Yes. I worked for 15 years in healthcare, and this pandemic was a lot. So I made the jump and am a lot happier. And I'm so happy to have found you guys to help out along the way and do things like this to get me out of my shell. So thank you.
It's okay. I cried before the first C Chats episode. I thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown. Yes. And it was pre-recorded. I'm fully aware of that. I got you. Don't worry about it. You can do it. All right. So now you're a full-time reseller. And I think that's why I'm so excited to do a C Chat spotlight on you, because you never know who you're going to be inspiring. And you never know when you put your story out there, there might be somebody that's, working in healthcare that's hanging on by a thread that might hear your story and be inspired and know that they can make a change. So I just want to throw that out there. All right. So we're going to do a See It with C Chats, and we're going to talk a little bit. First, we're going to talk like a high level overview about what your consignment process looks like, including the software you use and everything like that. So just tell us a little bit about, from start to finish, how, your business works.
Okay. So I started with spreadsheets. That's a great way to start for people that are just starting out. Lots of Excel and things like that. And then I went to Consign Cloud. When I first started with them, they were extremely basic, which so was I. I was doing it part-time, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money. It was pretty cheap. So worked great. We've grown significantly together. They're they're a lot bigger now, and they do a lot more integrations. So I live in a small town that is very we're on the border of Canada. Canada is super locked down. People over here have been pretty locked down. So my clients just leave things on my porch. I have a limit of so many boxes or bags that they can leave at a time, and I schedule them so I don't have too much all at once, and I know who's leaving stuff on my porch. There's nothing weirder than coming home and having a porch full of stuff, and I'm like, who dropped things off today?
Yup.
And nice stuff. I'm like, why would you just leave that in the snow, like out? Yeah.
People get desperate. Yeah.
Yeah. So they drop it off. I go through it and I list from my phone. I'm still tweaking my process.
Okay.
Processes are never complete. I feel like I am just constantly shifting and changing and trying to find the most efficient or best way to do something. And it also depends on what I'm doing that week. Usually I try to take the pictures, put them in photo room. I upload them right into Consign Cloud. And then at the end of each day, I'll go in and I'll sync it with, make sure it's synced on my website, make sure it's synced in eBay. I use Shopify for that. And then that way, whatever I did that day is done at the end of that day. However, my daughter is in travel basketball. We do a lot of stuff where we have to travel around. Our kids are 5 hours away from us. So if I know I'm going to be in the car or traveling somewhere where I have service, that's hard to do up here too.
Oh my gosh.
Then I will take a bunch of pictures and write down the information about the items. And then as my husband is driving, I will add them into the inventory and try to be productive so I don't feel like I'm wasting time while we take a trip. So sometimes it varies.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. So you start on your phone. Let's say, all right. So you you do hard goods and clothing, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you start on your phone. Let's say you get an item in. Do you take the pictures on your phone, or you start the listing on your phone?
I take the pictures first.
Okay.
Take all the pictures and I put them in photo room. So that they, if I don't want the background or if I want to clean them up. And then right from my phone, I open up Consign Cloud. They don't have an app, but I just save a shortcut of the website and it opens as a mobile, like it is different and more streamlined than the website. I open that up, I download the images, put all the information that they need, and that's it. It's in there. It automatically goes to Shopify and we're good to go.
Okay. And then, all right. So that's really interesting. That's really cool. And it's very different from the way I do it. So I'm actually excited. This has inspired me to do my own See It with C chats to describe my process. Cause I'm so excited about this segment just because I know we'll pick things up from each other that we hadn't thought of. And yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting. All right. So it goes right from, like, Shopify is your website. Let's just use those terms interchangeably now. So it automatically syncs up from Consign Cloud to Shopify. And then you said is everything on eBay? And how does that process look when you move things over onto eBay?
There are some things that I don't put on eBay that I put on my website, and vice versa. If I have a bunch of like dollar DVDs, which I do right now, my dad went through his movies, I'll put those on my website, but I'm not wasting spots on eBay for that.
Okay.
And then same thing with, if my brother loves junkyards, he's a mechanic, he brings me the weirdest car parts and stuff. Nobody on my website's going to care about that. Yeah. However, eBay goldmine. So I can list to Consign Cloud and there's just a little toggle switch as to whether you want it in Shopify or not. I have it set to always on because 90% of my stuff goes to Shopify. But if it's one of those weird car part things or whatever, I can just shut it off just for that listing. And then we're good.
Wow. So do you manually move it to eBay then? Or what is
Yes. So if I don't put it to Shopify, it's more of a pain to move them all to Shopify and then remove them and only put on eBay than it is just to go and list it on eBay. So for those few items I put in Consign Cloud, it is now inventoried. I know which bin it's in and all that kind of stuff. And then I can just go and do sell similar or whatever on eBay.
Okay. I'm going to get off track a little bit because I'm very interested in this topic because it's a hot button topic with me. I don't know about the rest of the world. The Shopify. I use Shopify much differently than probably everybody else. But anyway, so you have Shopify to your website, and I see with a lot of consignment sellers, a lot of sellers in general, it's hard to drive that traffic to Shopify. So that's one of the reasons I put all my inventory on eBay. So can you talk a little bit about why you made that decision and what the traffic is like? Because I think you had an existing customer base that wanted to shop from you.
Yes. So I started on Facebook. I've only sold a few things on eBay here and there. Facebook was my thing. I actually run an auction group on Facebook. It's a local auction group to our Tri-County area. It's a 24-hour group. So you post things, 24 hours later, it's done. All the bids are in the comments. I've ran it for 5 or 6 years now. And yeah, I used to post like one weekend I'd post like 100 or 200 items in there, and it was pretty much just me for a long time and everybody shopping from me. Well, now reselling is becoming more of a thing and there's other people in there. So I had to limit how many posts everybody can post per day. And I had to finagle some of the rules to make it easier. People were getting turned off by how cluttered it was, things like that. So I will post my 5 things a day in there. And then when they win those items, like this morning, that's what I did. I went through all of the stuff that ended last night, and then I will send them my website and say, is there anything you want to add to your order? And I will do it that way. And then also when they win an item, I put in a coupon code in their bag, and that directs them to my website and they get 10% off with that code. So yeah, it was a little bit of they wanted more and they were missing me posting so much, but also just trying to get new customers there as well. So it's a little mix.
Yes, you had that client base, you have that traffic, and that's built in. All right, so that really explains a lot. Like if somebody is trying to decide what they're doing and what platforms they're using, I'm just gonna say, like, I think that you need an existing customer base, or you need to be ready to invest a lot of time and money to drive traffic if you are using your own Shopify website. So take that into consideration. Samantha has one of the ways that works with that. And yeah.
And even with my existing base and the way that I message people and try to drive them there, I still am always looking for different ways to market it or show people, because it's still hard to get people to a website.
Yes. And you have that existing process already. So, very interesting. Wow. I wonder if you're the only one in our group that does that. The only C chatter that does that.
I love doing these things and like collaborating with you guys, because I'm just over here like, yeah, this works. And then I look at other people and I'm like, and I know, don't compare to other people, but
you can get ideas.
I'm so veteran in some things and then so new in other things that I'm like, I don't even know if I'm doing this right. Is there a wrong way to do it? I don't know.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Like that is one of the things why we created the community to begin with, is just like, yeah, everybody was kind of like in their own little bubble. Like, I'll try this. I'll see if this works. Like, I don't know. Should I be using this? Should I be tracking this? Should I be doing this? And yeah, we were all in our own little worlds. And so I know it's definitely been just game changer for me to learn what other people do and get ideas and what works and what doesn't. So yeah. All right. Thank you for sharing that. All right. So is there anything else you want to add before we take a look at the details?
I don't think so. Shopify is kind of confusing at first. Like if somebody signs up with it and stuff, YouTube videos, they have a lot of their own videos on the website. And just reaching out to the group and stuff, I reached out to a couple different groups. It is kind of confusing at first. And I think it's because there are so many different ways to do things. Like you share your stuff from eBay and you do different things on your website. And there's just so many different ways that it can be confusing to make sure you're setting it up and streamlining it the way that you need it to go, or to change it. I had mine all set up and I thought it looked great. And then they rolled out something and said, well, that doesn't work with your little freebie thing. I gotta find another one.
Yeah. Isn't it? It's its own entity, right? And the other thing is, and I don't want to get into this today. We might do a whole episode on Shopify, but I think I have lipstick on my teeth. Sorry, guys. That's all right. I did a whole episode one time with something in my tooth. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think
I'm
they
beyond
look great.
embarrassment at this point. So taxes with Shopify can be, from my experience, an utter nightmare. So something else to consider when looking at Shopify if you're not selling just in your state. It's
Gotcha.
yeah, it's something to consider. All right, so let's see your process. Samantha's going to do a screen share here and walk us through. I am going to try to translate for our podcast listeners, and but if you're having trouble following along, just hop over to YouTube, check out the video. It's going to be pretty informative. All right, Samantha, so here we go.
Not what I want. All right, let me.
And we're talking about Consign Cloud. I am going to drop a link with your affiliate code to Consign Cloud if anybody's interested.
Thank you.
Please use the link. All right.
It's not trained what I, okay. I do not have an iPhone, but that's what it wants to use. So I figured it would be easiest to just pull up my phone here because this is how I do it. I take all my pictures on my phone. I don't sync them on my computer or anything like that. So they don't have an app. I just share a link, keep a little link on my thing. It logs in.
It's not showing yet on this the screen.
Let's see here. Let me redo it.
All right.
You're going to have to learn a lot of editing for this one.
Nah, this is real, people. This is real.
All right.
Can you see it now? All right.
Okay. Can you see my phone screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So on my main screen, I just click on the little bookmark link. They, like I said, they don't have a specific
into Consign Cloud through Samantha's phone. Okay.
Yep. They don't have a specific app. However, it is streamlined and they give you like more limited and fewer options than if you're on their actual website on a computer. So it is quite easy to navigate. On the bottom, I can make a sale. So if I want to quickly put in that somebody picked up an item or sold something else, I can do that there. Over here, I can add a consignor real quick. That just brings that up. And then here, this little tag at the bottom is where I add a new item. Don't worry, most of those people are my family, so it's fine. Let's see. So I picked an item that was in my account. So it asks you which consignor or the store. Categories, you can make your categories. I'm constantly making categories as I get new things because I sell a wide variety of items. And then the categories on here link with Shopify, and that's what breaks down my website as well. So anytime I add one on here, it adds it onto there. Description is just your basic title. You set up in Consign Cloud what other fields you want in your title. So I don't put the brand or the color or size in there because it's going to automatically add them when I fill them in here. So I did sometimes I forget what I do. Oh, it's behind me. I did a dress. This
is really interesting. Okay. All right, so Samantha's putting in all the details of that, like the category, the description, the brand, the color, the size, and it's going to Consign Cloud. It looks like is going to write a title for that item.
And then because it's going to Shopify, it asks for a weight, and this is just a quick one. When you go into Shopify, you can change things. If it's like all the clothes and stuff, I just put like 5 or 6 ounces or things like that. And then if you had like a big bulky item or things, you can put in like 4 pounds here and then go in and make sure that you put a bigger package size in. I just have it set to like a standard package size. So most of the things that I put in there fall under first class. And if it is a weird thing that needs to be priority and I know it's going to be expensive, then I go in and change it. I don't do free shipping. I have buyers pay for shipping. So I just want to make sure that it's accurate, and they make it pretty easy. The details, it will not go link to eBay. I learned this the hard way. I added like 100 items my first week and could not get it into eBay. None of them. It was because they didn't have a detail in here. I was just gonna add it myself once they synced. They won't. So details, tags, dress.
So would you put in the details, all right, so like right, okay. So if I have an item, I will put in my like description section, good condition, worn and washed, like for instance, for used clothing.
Yep.
That's where you put that. Okay.
Any measurements, just this is your description in eBay.
Okay.
And then on your website, it's just a quick little line that they have to click on. So and then I click this little plus sign and it gets the photos right from my phone. And I select all of these.
Okay, so your photos are stored in Consign Cloud.
Yes.
Then, okay, wow. All right.
Yep. So I do those.
Now, I like how, do you do standard? On the screen here, I'm seeing Samantha's, the photos she took are uploading to Consign Cloud. And I see one of the photos is a note with the measurements on it that you've taken a photo of.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you do standard for all your items?
I'm trying to. I just started doing that, and it helps because most people ask what they are, or people will click and go, I don't really know if that's going to fit. And then you'll just get a lot of clicks and not a lot of sales. So I've noticed that the more measurements I put in, the better it is for sales.
Yeah. So what I do is I put that in the, where you were just putting in your details section.
Mm-hmm.
But I think people still ask when it's in the details, like on eBay, still ask what the measurements are. So I think having a photo like that is probably really helpful for buyers.
Yeah, I saw it on somebody's YouTube, and I really liked the way that she did it. I just have like a dry erase, like little photo frame thing. And
oh, okay.
Yeah, so it always has those fields on there, and I can just dry erase the measurements, and it says I need to make it look prettier. I got a Cricut now, so I should probably use it. But it's so that I can just dry erase it and then do the next one, and it's really quick when I'm measuring. So a downside to using the app is if you hit the back button, it gets rid of everything that you did. There's no draft. Like, you either enter an item or you don't. So I hit the back button, and now I don't do it very often.
All right. So I enter things in bulk. Like, I'll enter 50 items at a time. And this looks like you enter the items one at a time.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I love that idea of the photo with it on. Now, I know that ListPerfectly uses Sizely. I've personally never used it.
I haven't either.
It's something I definitely want to take a look at. And it does the translation between, inches, centimeters.
Gotcha. So I just wanted to point out that sometimes this photo is straight on my phone in my gallery. Sometimes they pop up sideways.
Yep.
I hit done and they will still go in correctly.
What?
Yep.
Wait, it switches the photo for you?
Well, it's right in my phone. I don't know why when I hit select file, some of them just show like, like I didn't take this sideways either. So some people worry and then they keep trying to fix it. You don't need to fix anything. You just need to upload it and it will be the way it's supposed to be.
Okay.
So I saved the photos. They're all in there. You can put different quantities. If you have a lot of that item, you put how much you want to sell it for, and tags. So for different categories and things like that, like if I have a clearance album in Shopify for my website or some sort of sale or something, I can add a tag to that. And then when I'm adding or editing any of my items, I can go in and just put sale. And then that keyword automatically links that item into my thing.
Into like a collection on Shopify, or is it? Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, so I can do sale collections or things like that. This one I will do women's because it's a women's item. And then I put which bin I'm going to put it in so that it keeps track of where everything is. It
Oh, that's
automatically lists.
interesting. Okay, so it actually has. Now, do you add that into
Yes.
Consign Cloud? Like you give it a list of your shelf numbers or your, okay.
Yep, it's really quick to just go in and add, oh, I added a new bin, A6, or I have one called hanging or movie rack. So, and that just shows just for me to know exactly where it is once it sells.
Wow, that is really neat. So I noticed under inventory type, can you go up to inventory type there? There's
Yep.
A field called, so there's consignment, buy outright, and retail.
So because I picked my account, this one's
Yes.
under me, it's buy outright. I bought this item and I'm selling it.
Okay.
And then all my consignors are set up as consignment and their split will automatically go in there, which you can change per item if needed.
Okay.
Otherwise it just does the standard shop rate or client rate. You can set it up per person.
Okay.
And you can put how much this item cost you. This dress cost me 25 cents.
Good deal, girl.
We have I call it the bins. It's not a real bins. That one's like 6 hours away. But we have like an Amazon overstock type place. And they start out on Saturdays. All their new inventory comes in and it's $6 for every item. And then by Friday, it just goes down 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fridays are 25-cent day. That is the only day I allow myself to go into that darn store.
You and Molly was doing, there was one by her like that. I've never done it, but she was getting a kick out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then I just hit save. And that item is in there. Item created successfully.
Okay.
And it lists it. The photos show weird, but when I go and look at it in Shopify, it does put the actual photo that I picked, and you can go in and move those around. You can edit things from here. You can print a label for it. But it just gives you a basic overview.
Yeah,
of your
so
item.
for those of you listening, it's this beautiful description with your photos. It's actually in your consignment software. It's doing all the calculations behind the scenes. It's assigning it to a, consignor. It's giving it inventory. It is, I think it should be barcoding it, right? Do you use barcodes at all, or you don't have a need for them?
I don't use them, but it does automatically create a SKU, and you can add a barcode to your tag when you print it. My tags, I usually only print them if I'm having a quick pop-up sale or some little thing around here. So I just have the basic, size and price kind of thing, but it does automatically do a SKU.
Okay, that looks great. That looks absolutely amazing. Love it. Love it. So, all right, so now you have it in. What is the process? Are you able to show us the process where you would sync it with Shopify? Okay.
Yep. Let me stop this and go here.
I'm excited to see this. So with mine, I just can't help but contrast it with my process, and the software I use is so incredibly different. So none of my inventory is not synced automatically with Shopify. My pictures are not stored in my software.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am excited to see how you do it.
Yeah, it's so different.
All right, so I go into Shopify, list all my stuff. On the bottom, I have my sales channels. I'd previously linked eBay. I click on that. and then I have to go to publish. So you do have to go in here and refresh it and sync it. This pops up every time. And it will sync anything that's
syncing it to, all right, so it's automatically in Shopify.
Yep, it's in Shopify. It is on my website. We're good there.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, so what you're doing now is you're moving that from Shopify to eBay using the app within Shopify.
Yes. So eBay wants a lot more details and wants to map it to their certain items in their catalogs. So you do have to manually go in, and that's why I just do this once a day or every couple days, because it does take a little while to download everything, and then you have to go through and, as we'll see, make sure that all the categories are correct. But it syncs all the photos and all the basic information that you put in. I have asked ConsignCloud to maybe add some more information so that when you're doing that process that I just showed everybody, you don't have to answer so many questions later on, because the stuff you put in eBay, people on my website would probably like to know, like Facebook should probably have some of those details. So it would just be nice if you could do it more at the beginning and not now.
Yeah.
So review and publish the products that I have since the last time I did this.
Oh, and I have so many questions on top of this too. Okay.
Some of these things I accidentally added, and I'm not putting these DVDs on there. This sold this morning, so a couple of these things sold this morning. So it's saying, well, it's not synced anymore. What are you doing? I just have to go into Shopify and delete them now, because Shopify keeps them saying you can restock. We don't do that. We get too many weird things. So this one, top one, is the one I want. I don't want all these. Like, there's several ways to do this. I am still just learning. So
yeah, so you're just telling Shopify which ones you want to move over to eBay.
There is a way to do it one by one, and there's different lists to pull up and things, but it takes me a while to get through all of them and remember. So your eBay title, you can add more information here. This is just the basic one that it added in from ConsignCloud. Fill up your 80 characters and go crazy with that. Right. I'm terrible at titles. Then make sure that it's in the right category. This went to women's clothing, so that's good. You can see that some of these DVDs came over as books and things like that. So you have to make sure that's in the right spot. And then when you hit attributes, which most of my stuff is pre-owned, it automatically puts everything as new. This is new with tags. I don't remember the brand. That's what it is. It's a large. You can add different things here.
Now, is this where the item specifics go?
Yes. So, yep. This is
for
all
those of you listening that sell on eBay, we all know about item specifics. That's all I'm going to say.
Luckily on here, there's really not that many. I mean, I know later on eBay will tell you you have a bunch that you should add. But there's really not that many on here. And then normally it doesn't ask me the length. I believe this was 41 inches. Oh, it's just asking this. This is simple. We'll say and I'll come back and tweak this and actually do it.
So we have Samantha's putting in all of her item details. Some of us, we can't see all the pop-ups here on the screen share, but just putting in the item specifics, because eBay, as most of us know that use different platforms to sell, eBay does require the most item specifics and is the most robust with search. So good and bad.
So I hit apply, that all goes in there, and then I would just hit save and publish. I normally don't do one. Normally I do like 50 of them at a time kind of thing. And then it should say that it's processing.
You don't actually have to go into eBay.
No.
You're doing this all through Shopify. Oh, that's fascinating.
Yep. And it takes all of your oh, that's one thing that normally pops up here that I didn't have. It takes all of your policies, so your shipping policies and all that kind of stuff, and it puts in your preferred ones, and then you can, which I have, return policy and then my first class shipping policy, and then I can go in and change it to my priority policy if I want, or things like that. And you can just, when it's in this list, you can just go down the list and do it that way.
Yeah, for those of you that haven't set up business policies, I did a quick chat on them. I am a big believer. If you use eBay, your life is so much better with business policies, and it looks like Samantha agrees with me.
So I actually didn't use them before Shopify, and it didn't seem like that big a deal. I do calculated shipping, buyer pays, like it didn't seem that big a deal. And then I did Shopify, and it doesn't let you pick anything. Like, it doesn't, you have to have a policy.
Yeah.
And plus I was getting returns. So since I made an actual return policy, it's been a lot better. It's crazy.
Oh, that's awesome. Good to know. Good to know.
I don't know why this is taking so long, but normally it just pops up and it says your item's been published to eBay. I can immediately go into my eBay app on my phone. It's in there. Anytime I want to update the item, the downside to this is if I go into eBay and I'm like, let's knock that down $1 or do whatever, I have to do that all through either Consign Cloud or Shopify, which I'm getting used to. I just go into Consign Cloud and I'll pick my bin, and sometimes I just go through a bin or an expiration date. I'll pick and I'll start marking things down there, because you can go through and search different things for criteria like that. You can still send offers and do all that stuff through eBay. None of that changed. People message me about items. I can do my shipping through there if I want to.
So once it's on eBay, it's its own entity, right?
The only thing is I just can't change the price or some of the item specifics without changing them in Consign Cloud.
Really?
Yeah.
So it is somehow okay. All right, that's interesting.
So I can make offers and I can do all that, but if I need to go in and say, oh, I meant to say that was blue, not purple, or something like that, I have to do that in either Consign Cloud or Shopify, and then they will automatically relay it. Like, I went through the other day and I marked down a whole bin. I was reorganizing. I marked them all down and I did it in Consign Cloud, and it instantly updated it everywhere else. So that part was nice.
Wow, that's really interesting. Okay, I would never guess that. I never would have guessed that. All right, so that's from like start to finish. Like, your items are now available on your website, aka Shopify, and on eBay. That's pretty amazing. And you have all your inventory tracking and all your consignor percents and everything in Consign Cloud. Wow. All right, there's one thing I want to ask you about. So Shopify, the other thing that a lot of people do, and I don't know if you do this, you can sync it to Instagram, to Facebook, to TikTok. You can use your social media platforms. Like, it's similar to what you saw with eBay. It's similar to that.
I'm not established enough. I think your first sale has to be within like there's different criteria for some of that stuff. It keeps telling me that I met all the criteria, but my first sale on Shopify wasn't 90 days ago or longer. Oh, okay. And so once I hit that mark, then I have it all set up to do that and to go and use all their payments and Instagram and all that. But I think that's the only criteria I'm missing is my first sale on there was like 60 days ago. So.
Okay. So did I see you list things to Facebook, like your business page through Shopify?
I do that separately.
You do that separately. Okay.
Well, the shop that's on there is through Shopify. That is on there. Okay. That is one of my channels, but I don't know. It doesn't list everything, and it's not as streamlined, and everything that I keep searching says it's because I'm too new. And once my account on Shopify is more established, then it will like unlock everything and let me do it all. I don't know.
You'll be everywhere.
Yeah. Most of my stuff is on my Sorting with Samantha page, but
Okay. Yeah. I was seeing like some really beautiful items popping up on your page, and it looked like they were coming from Shopify, but I didn't know for sure. Yeah. So I have that capability, and I don't use it at this point. And when I do my See It with C chats, you guys will see why. But that's really neat. And I think Tiffany, if I'm not mistaken, she's using Shopify for Tiffany's Treasures and Trinkets, and then sending it to Facebook as well. So
yeah, and with all those other shops and the websites and all that, eBay is the only one that you have to manually go into, just because they have all of that special criteria.
right.
All the other ones, as soon as I click OK in Consign Cloud, it's out there.
Yeah, and it's Google. Do you send it to Google Shopping as well? That's
Yeah, there's
channel.
There's fields for that. Yep.
Yeah. So there's all these in Shopify, and channel was the word I was looking for before. Different sales channels, right? So your website, you're sending it to your website. It's on your website when it goes into Shopify. Then you have, like, let's say, like little toggle switches for channels. Like, I'm oversimplifying it here, but like Google, TikTok, Facebook, your Facebook business page. I'm not talking about Facebook Marketplace. Instagram. I know there's other ones, but there you can add these sales channels to Shopify. So that's, the sky's the limit pretty much.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my gosh, this is so interesting. Thank you so much. I think we're going to have a lot of questions. People were very interested to see how you set your process up, because it was so well thought through. Sometimes people use the process and there's nothing like throwing spaghetti at a wall and you see what sticks. Some people use that method. Yours was very well thought out for efficiency and your design of process. So I think it's going to be really helpful for people to see how you do that process. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we will be looking forward to having you back for your C-Chat Spotlight, so we can talk about all the amazing things you're doing with your business and focus on that. So I'm going to stop the recording. Wait, we got to cheers first, man. Do you have a drink?
I do have some coffee.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
That was really informational, that first See It with C Chats, and how Samantha does business and does her day to day. So hopefully you've acquired some information and some knowledge there. Like I said, while we were doing the interview and the See It, we will be back with Samantha catching up to do a C Chats business spotlight, because certainly we want to shine the spotlight on her and her knowledge of consignment. And I think the way she runs her business is very interesting, very unique, and very well thought through. So yeah, I think that was an awesome way to start our See It with C Chat segment. Lots of stuff has been happening in the community. I've had a lot of talk and chatter about consignment contracts and putting those together, and how different people structure their consignment, what their percentages are. So hop into the community or go back and listen to some of our episodes on consignor agreements. I find it very helpful. I kind of worked some new things into actually my consignor agreement, and I really appreciate the input from the community. So I wanted to read you today 2 reviews we got on Apple Podcasts that we are very thankful for. Assuming these are members of our community, but because the way they do the names on the podcast, I don't necessarily know who's submitting it. All right, the first one said, I found this just doing a search on consignment as I'm just starting my business. What a tremendous resource. I feel like I will make far fewer mistakes with this group by my side. Oh yeah, that is really great to hear. And I hope that is the truth. We really, really like to be a resource, and we love the input of our community. Everybody has a little bit different way of doing business, maybe different software they use, different platforms they sell on, and See It with C Chats is going to be a way that we can bring that to you. The next one is from CRW Seller. And it says, I love this podcast. The ladies of Consignment Chats are fun, knowledgeable, and have a great rapport. Not only is this a great podcast, but their Instagram account and Facebook group are a must for all serious seller across multiple marketplaces. Thank you for adding value to our seller community. Thank you for bringing us that review. What a special review, and we really do appreciate that. So if you want to find us online, you can go to Consignment Chats online, and you can link up with any of the number of ways to find us, whether it's our Facebook C Chats community. We are currently running a book club, and it's on Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. You can hop in there. That's a lot of fun. We do a weekly meeting. We're really getting to know each other and learning so much in the process, and really leveling up our businesses. And what else? There's just so much going on. So we have the YouTube channel, we have podcasts. If you are listening on YouTube, please like and subscribe and share us with your friends. We know consignment sellers tend to be some of the busiest resellers and rarely get a free moment. So if you have a consignment shop or reseller in your community, please tell them about us and spread the word, because we are building a resourceful community of collaborative resellers. I love that. I love our mission, and join us.
Thanks for joining Libby and Molly, the ladies of Consignment Chats. To find out more and keep chatting, find Consignment Chats on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and podcast. As always, you can find all of this information at consignmentchats.com. Thanks for joining us.